like to welcome each and every individual to leverage the magical arts of positive motivation and manipulation. Hi, my name is Mark Boersma, and your backstage passes in this course. And the course, the 7-week course is going to be just, it's going to be spectacular. But the backstage part, it's magical. I mean, what is Tom really like? What is Peter really like? What is Mark really like? Like it's kind of unhinged. Like we're talking. We're just having a conversation. We're, going through and brainstorming. Like, what's the best way to be able to go through and really present this? So, in the backstage passes, you want to get other people registered, right? Get them on board because there's something magical about participating in the backstage, like with with the individuals that went through it. So last week last session went through breaking through the status quo, creating a core culture, exceptional performance. So we went through all of that. We looked at the model, and so we went through that. And so, do you deeply believe we can accomplish far more together than we ever could on our own if we all learn to think differently, if we all have, unique abilities which, when brought together, have magical abilities for the mutual benefit for everyone? 100% of the individuals in our company, organization, or in sales need to sell. Like having us all being able to understand that at a deep level, that from the big picture, we face similar core things just at a different level and a different frequency. And so, imagine every team member is clear on their passions, their purpose, and their life vision and how it connects back in to the overall global vision. Peter, why is that so important for an organization to make sure that every team member is connected back in to the overall global vision?
Well, to me, it's kind of simple and straightforward. The more you can align people's time and effort to common goals and common obstacles, whether it's obstacles to growth or whether it's growth itself, that just gives you the power of compound interest. So it's kind of that simple. It's whether there's one man in the boat rowing or whether there's hundreds. And to have that common direction, then you're going to get where you're going, where you want to go, quicker and easier, because it's not dependent upon solely your effort.
And as the team, and it does, but it doesn't, like as the team gets larger and larger, it gets harder and harder to do that. Is that fair to say or not?
Yeah, it certainly gets harder to communicate effectively with everybody, and that to me is why the foundation always has to be either created or built on. And what I mean by that is we're back to the core culture, the core values of a business, what it's there to do, whether it's a product or a service, in servicing its customers, because that becomes then the reference point for every individual. And you find so often in bigger and bigger organizations that as they become a little more numb to what the purpose of the organization is ultimately versus their daily actions and workload activity. So the hard part becomes, in a sense, either reminding everybody or teaching everybody what the key core values are of the business as it relates to the enterprise itself, whether it's large or small.
See, and this is what's interesting. So let's say that, a value, and this is where we're going to learn this in Personality Mastery, is the DNA for people. Let's say that a value is, honesty. Let's say, and so, honesty probably is going to be a driver, a pyramid type of thing, like honesty, directness. I value honesty and directness. It's one of our values. when that value conflicts with caring and compassion, compassion, like, well, we value being caring and compassion. Well, often when you're direct with people, that's perceived as not being caring and compassion. So you have this, when somebody says words like we often don't realize, when I say integrity, I think of integrity through the lens of my personality, but each of the 4 different personalities, look at it in a different way. When we look at every team member as being clear as to what actions they need to take to achieve personal success and company success, imagine every team member having the confidence to share what they see and the wisdom to know how to sell their ideas and insights to make a better system in any area of the company they see where value improvements can be made. And so...
Yeah, but...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, you could use a core value like integrity, whether you're in the customer service business or whether you're developing and engineering a product. You have to have the openness within the organization to be able to challenge whether you're consistent with the core values. To your point, people can have a different interpretation of a core value like integrity. If something's gone wrong and you need to fix it for a customer, how far do you go? And at what point is it satisfying that core value of integrity, and at what point is it commercially unviable to satisfy it? So there's always, it can be gray around those things, but that's why it's an ongoing process when you're allowing core values to be challenged, as well as confirming that we need to go above and beyond in this instance, because we're all about integrity, trust, and loyalty to grow our business with whatever our product is. So it's not black and white. You have to challenge it, but obviously the more consistent people can be with the interpretation based on their personality, the more black and white it becomes and the less gray area there is, and you get more consistent, valuable decision-making and bridge building and obstacle avoidance.
And this is really where I see the course leverage the course, the magical arts of positive motivation and manipulation, is coming in and being something that will impact everyone. We're going to go into the Q&A now, and this is where, listening to this, if you're not part of the backstage experience, I think we're going to go ahead and hear from Nicole, and then Elise, and then Jill, and then Emily, with some questions that they may have as it relates to themselves and their own position, their own roles, their own responsibilities, as well as yours, too. So being part of the backstage experience is really powerful. So here we go into the Q&A.